Hello, my friends on YouTube. Today is Sunday, the 7th of May 2023. Uh, Before I start, I want to apologize because by accident, actually, I saw some comments that are not posted under the video, but somehow I found them on my wife's phone. And I don't know why YouTube is doing that. However, this is the case. So if I'm not responding to your comment, please be mindful that I don't mean to. That's not in my hand. I'm sorry about that. Today's video is a little bit unorthodox. Muhammad's women, group of women, and in a way, it's not very polite, but until we hear about this person who disappeared, Saeed al-Idrisi, the Egyptian man who was living in Yemen, will continue to open things for these people until they respond. The Egyptian government as well as the Yemenis, they know where is he at, if he is still alive or dead. We need a word. Okay. Let's find out about the holiness of Prophet of Allah and his women, and also, by the way, his followers. Let's check this out. Some of the believers asked Aisha, the young girl who was 9 years old when she consummated her full sexual relationship with the Prophet of Allah when he was 54 years old. They asked her, the believers, tell us about it's hard to translate the word, but the manners, probably the best word, the manners of the Prophet. So her answer was, his manners is the Quran, the book that he brought, as he brought something very good. Let's check that Quran that he was living. Okay? Let's check his manners. She said he used listen, I'm going to put all that in the description box if you want to know where it's registered. The Prophet of Allah used to, I don't know how to say that, go to his wives in the course of one night, one after the other, with one bath or one wash. And he normally had, as I said before, a soccer team with two extra in case one had her period or something. He had at least 13 wives plus concubines. So tell me, how, insects, never mind animals, insects, they don't go on the male does not go and visit 13 female in one night or one day. Plus what his right hand possessed, that's the concubines. So bare minimum 13. And these people, each one had her house. She had her home. But even if they were in a hotel and they are all on one floor, one next to the other, 13. Okay? Because the Muslim, they are very proud that he had a lot of sexual desire. That's their pride. That makes him a prophet. Okay? 13 wives, and probably the what his right hand possessed were in the basement of the hotel, because they are not on the same level. And but actually there are many hadith. She says he prayed at night. So just if a man is doing that with at least 10 women, where will you find the time to pray and meditate? Of course, the Muslim are trying to beautify the image of the founder, but that does not add up. If a person, his mind always lustful, because that's nothing other than lust. We'll come to that. To do that with that many women, and probably he's doing that daily. This man, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't say a man. This person has nothing in his head other than his testicles. Okay. The second thing, in the month of Ramadan, for those who don't know, is 1 month, about 30 days or so. The Muslims, men and women, you abstain from eating, drinking, and sexual relationship with your spouse. So 3 things that Muslim is not supposed to do in the month of Ramadan. And if any human being wants to be a good example, you lead by living these words yourself. No, he only give that to the followers to do, but he himself, she said, I'm going to put that in the description box. The word, when you translate it practically, he used to come to her during fasting time, and he used to touch, kiss, and check everything. Use your imagination. He would do everything except ejaculating. Never mind. The thing here, when she was, that's the wife of the holy man. There's something I noticed when I was reading this hadith, and please bear with me. She was saying, she was talking to his followers about his living the Quran, okay, or he's a living Quran. She was telling him that in the month of Ramadan, he used to touch and do everything, but he was the best of control, better than any of you in controlling his sexual desire. And that's my question. Better than any of you in controlling his sexual desire. Now, there are some countries that they have I'm going to give an example here to open that and make it clear. What does that mean? Some countries have a particular fruit that it cannot be exported. So unless you go to this country and taste this fruit, you wouldn't know how it tastes. So if I come to you and I tell you, I visited the Philippines and I like mangosteen more than the apple. This because I know how that fruit called mangosteen tastes and how the apple tastes. So I compare them to each other and I tell you this is better quality or better taste than this because I experienced both. I know both tastes. So my question here to each and every Muslim, how did she know that he is in better control of his sexual desire than the others? How? How would you know if you have better control of your sexual desire more than your neighbor? Or your neighbor has more control of your sexual desire than you? Unless something happened between the two of you. And now that takes us to the situation of an incident called ifk. And ifk, it's actually the Prophet of Allah was doing jihad. So he went to attack a village. It's called Ghazwat Bani al-Mustalaq, meaning the fight of the tribe of Bani al-Mustalaq. And he used to choose one wife to go with him, a lottery or something to that effect. And it was the same Aisha, that young girl that she married him when he was 54, she was 9. It was her turn. Or her, anyway, she went out with him because in the morning, excuse me, he used to do jihad with the sword, killing people. In the evening, he will perform jihad with one of the women, one of the wives. He can't go do jihad one day without jihading in the evening with the women. Cannot. His head, the brain, we have two sides. Probably for him, he had two testicles. Okay? He cannot do jihad. I mean, look, any army. I mean, even if, let's say, another army coming to attack a town or a country, when you go to defend, you don't take your wife with you. The women stay behind in case you get killed, then your wife doesn't get raped. He cannot control. He has to do jihad at night. Okay. So, in this fight, after he's done, it looks like he didn't do much jihad. He couldn't do proper jihad with his wife. She wanted more jihad, so she stayed behind with a young guy. And it looks like he did a lot of jihad, good jihad with her. And she went back home the next day. And people looked at them and they looked like they were doing jihad all night last night. They don't look like they were asleep. They slept and rested. They were doing jihad all night together. So they told him. The people told him she was all night jihad. So he stayed 1 month away from her, and Jibreel couldn't come at this time to tell him whether she was doing jihad or not. He was waiting to see if she got pregnant. He was waiting. And she didn't get pregnant. Not all women actually get pregnant, some women don't. Okay, and that was a big problem. His nephew told him to divorce her. Many people told him to divorce her. She's unfaithful to you. It's very clear. People can tell. And probably that was not the first time she was going around with other people. She was probably 14 years old. He was in his 60s. Or 15 years old. She wanted to be with a younger guy. She was sold as business to have good relationship with her. Her father sold her so he can be closer. Because he can loot more, get more money. Okay, so that was the manner of the Prophet of Allah. And that were the women who were following the Prophet of Allah. Now we go to the, what do you call them? The rightful caliphate. And these, actually, when you translate the Arabic word, it means the perfected men. Perfected. Like mature or perfected, that's the closest to the translation. Like when you turn 21, you become a mature person, and let's say if you want to drink alcohol, nobody can tell you not to go to a bar. You can, because now you are an adult. But the translation is not really adult, but perfected. Suddenly when they followed the Prophet of Allah, well, they were gangsters, they became perfected. I wish I can become perfected that easily. Anyway, the second perfected caliphate, Omar, one day, you're talking about 1400 years ago, Arabia at this time was not as advanced as Rome. Rome had a sanitation system and toilet and so on and so forth. However, in Arabia, reality is it wasn't like that. So people, when they wanted to go to bathroom, they used to go to a particular place a little far from the house, and they do their business there and they go back home. So some people used to actually hide and watch the women when they are doing their business. And women knew that. So most of them, they hold themselves until night when it's dark. So they go and do their business. Because really, no, you don't want people to see you at this when you're doing that. So one of the wives, of the many wives of the Holy Prophet of Allah, was going to do that at night. And Omar, the second caliphate, after she's done, he tells her, I saw you. Her name was Sauda. I saw you, Sauda. I saw you. It's not I saw you, it's I knew you, Sauda. And the word knew you, it is repeated in the Jewish and Christian tradition, and the Muslim took the same word. They say Adam knew Eve. That means Adam married Eve and sexually they had something. They saw of each other sex. So he was using this word. We knew you, Sauda. It means I saw your sexual parts. That was the follower of the Prophet of Allah who were perfected. I will keep doing that until we hear of what happened to this man, Said al-Idrisi. We will open the books, the holy books. Thank you very much. We hope to hear from you.